Skin. But let's go to the phones. 1-800-585-1051. Let's open the phone lines. Everybody woosah.
I'm going to get a sparkling water.
I got my candles lit. I got my candles lit. If you need me to light sage, I'll light sage. Jess want to fight. Envy being beige rage.
What up? This is Rapids, and so Jess Hilarious sat down on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne and Envy, and then Lauren LaRosa ended up coming into the sit down, and they tried to get to the bottom of what's going on with all the issues, because they wanted to first and foremost address Jess Hilarious' rant the other day, where she was basically calling out the Breakfast Club. It was almost disrespectful because she took it to the public. You know, she took it to her personal live stream, and when she came into work the next day, they had to sit down, even callers they had calling. And you know, this is how they handled it, because I know they weren't happy with that rant that she took to the public. So then I guess they figured, well, if you're going to take that rant to the public, we're going to hold our personal grievances in public as well, the Breakfast Club was saying. So that's how they handled it. It was get back. For her going public, well, we're going to go public. So when Jess Hilarious walked into the building, and for some reason, all of a sudden she was at work, because she's been avoiding going to work. She keeps on trying to work from home or work from the road, get on her laptop and chime in from her laptop. And, you know, so she hasn't been real present, you know what I'm saying? And she came to work because I don't think she really had much of a choice, because it's getting to the point where it looks like they're definitely trying to get rid of her, but they, at the same time, they're trying to resolve the issue and see if they can come to some type of, you know, agreement and be cordial and figure it out. But I know she did not want to sit down, because she started crying during that interview. You know, during that questioning, it was like she had no escape. She was forced to explain herself, that what she was saying, you know what I'm saying, about them behind their back. And she got on there and really explained how, yeah, you know, she is bitter against Lauren LaRosa. She said, yeah, she brought her in. A lot of people didn't know that. So I guess when she went on maternity leave, Lauren LaRosa, it sounds like, was her background news gatherer. Like, she did all the research on getting the stories for Jess with the Mess. It sounds like Lauren LaRosa was back there doing all that, getting the stories together. And then Jess, originally, that was her whole show. So she was reading and she was commenting, and that was her thing. Lauren was playing the background. But then when Jess got pregnant and had to take off for several months, I guess Jess is admitting that she decided that she was going to put Lauren LaRosa in her spot while she was gone. And what happened next was, well, the comment section said they love Lauren LaRosa doing the news instead of just the mess. So this is what hurt Jess Hilarious, because when she came back, she couldn't believe she was still there. It was like she had announced the segment, and then it would go to Lauren LaRosa to do the entire segment after Jess just says it, introduces it. So she was saying this, you know, she was like, you still here? You know, like, what's going on? I'm back now. Well, that's the problem. You shouldn't have been gone. You decided to get pregnant. What timing? Soon as you sign a contract, you decide to have a baby and be out for months and months. You think that was smart? Ever heard of birth control or anything? Like, if this is your career, this is like the peak of your career, why are you deciding right now to go pregnant and be off for all that time? If you were putting your career first, you would have made sure that didn't happen. There's nothing wrong with putting your career first. This was the peak of your career in a moment for you. I guess you thought you could just take off and come back like nothing and just be off for all the months, enjoy your time at home with your family, and then come back to work when you're ready to come back. And this is a moving business. Like, this is a business that you just signed up to, you know what I'm saying? And that just wasn't smart. So Lauren LaRosa, everybody in the comments, I guess, was saying they prefer Lauren LaRosa over just the mess. They didn't know none of the background story. And all they knew is that they really enjoyed the news segment much better with Lauren conducting it instead of Jess the mess. So I think it really hurts Jess the most is that she picked her to take that slot. Like, that's just not settling good with her because it's like, she's figuring like she put you in that slot she's feeling. It wasn't the Breakfast Club who found her, it turns out. It was Jess. So that was her team and her news, gatherer and researcher. And she just feels like that's not fair that you guys are putting my help up and trying to have my help take my spot and replace her. She feels like she's being replaced because her talent that she found was so much better. You see, Breakfast Club had conducted sit-ins for like a year after Angela Yee left and had different co-hosts come on for a while. They had Ray J, they had others show up and some comedians, and they were trying to find a perfect fit to replace Angela Yee, and they ended up going with Jess Hilarious. So, it's crazy that they couldn't have found Lauren LaRosa because I'm sure they would have definitely hired Lauren if they knew about it. But for some reason, they were struggling finding talent. And then when the fans saw how good Lauren was at conducting the news segment, everybody just wanted her to stay. And Lauren, Jess Hilarious said she saw all those comments and it was hurting her. It was hurting her. She was hurt by all the people in the comments saying that they want Lauren LaRosa, and she just started feeling bitter and upset that, everybody was turning against her. She felt like her fans were picking, her help, saying they wanted Lauren, and this was not settling good with her. So Breakfast Club responded to the comments, and they saw clearly that, I think they saw it themselves too, of course, they saw it themselves, but it's like Breakfast Club didn't miss the comments either, and they went with that. They said, okay, well, everybody seems to want Lauren LaRosa, so we're going to just keep her on the show. And she became a fourth member. And so they're committed to a Jess Hilarious contract right now, but now they're going to have to make a decision because they don't want to tell her that they want her to go, but they're trying to act like, yeah, it's no big deal. Let her just do the, Breakfast Club's like, let Lauren just do the show that she's good at. She's the best at it, and we'll find something else for you to do. So, Jess Hilarious is not feeling too good about this, and it feels to me like they're trying to be nice to her too. Like the Breakfast Club needs to just man up and fire her because it's like they're trying to hold both of their hands, and like I said, they had them both sit down. Lauren came into the segment and sat down, and they obviously there's energy now. Jess is not feeling Lauren LaRosa. She just can't work around her. It's not gonna work. And so it looks like Jess a mess. Well, Jess Hilarious has been keeping all this inside for a while. She's been keeping all this inside, and she finally, it's starting to come out now. She can't take it anymore. It started reflecting in her work. She stopped going to the she started, like I said, working from home. She wasn't contributing her opinion like that. She was just, falling back from the show and not saying nothing. So now when she had the outburst on live stream, now she's forced to have a sit down in public. And that's the thing, is that they did this in public for views. Like some people are wondering if that was okay. Like, should have that been a private meeting? It's like basically we got to sit in on the private meeting. Like it could have been like an HR meeting or something, like something private. Instead, it was in public, and callers were calling in and saying their opinion. I think some of them were being nice I think they were screening the calls, you know what I'm saying? Because I think if you got the true calls, it would have been more brutal. But Breakfast Club obviously was screening calls, and it sounded like Jess had some support. And, I don't buy it, though. I think that if they would have let those calls come in, unfiltered, the truth would have came out, and it would have hurt Jess even more. Because, like I said, she broke down in tears over this on live, on Breakfast Club, while they were doing this to her. She just can't take it anymore. I think at this point she's gonna probably just have to quit soon, or because it's like Breakfast Club trying their best to be nice to her because they know that's wrong. That what they did. I guess they feel like that's your talent that we're putting up, and we want her. We want her to be the star. That's like if athlete's out on an injury, a starting athlete's out on an injury, and they replace him while he's gone. And they put someone from the bench in his spot, and that dude from the bench starts getting all the points and giving them wins and taking them far. The team is going to be like, okay, well, when the star player comes back from his injury about 3-4 months later, they might be like, okay, we've been winning. We haven't lost a game since you've been gone. What we supposed to do? It's like, okay, we're not going to necessarily fire you, but you're going to be benched. We're gonna have to bench you because we're not. If it ain't broke, we ain't gonna fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been winning ever since you've been gone. So, of course, and common sense will tell you we gotta keep doing what we're doing. We'll try to find a slot for you, but if not, just warm that bench up. You know what I'm saying? Warm that bench up, and eventually, when it's time for contract renewals, they'll probably be like, okay, we don't know if we need you on the bench even. You know what I'm saying? So they got to go by the contracts, but at this point, it's just not looking good. I mean, and for Jess Hilarious to call out Angela Yee and say now she sees where Angela Yee coming from, she's siding with Angela Yee. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Angela Yee and Jess Hilarious should team up, But, you know what I'm saying, at this point, it's like, you know what I'm saying, you calling out Angela Yee, knowing that there's a bad history with the Breakfast Club, trying to act like it's the Breakfast Club problem. Like, they're the ones with the issue. Like, how do you work with them? Now I see how Angela Yee was feeling. I see why she was saying this stuff. That's what Jess is trying to say. And it's like, you disrespecting now. You know what I'm saying? You getting real disrespectful now. So, there was a moment where Lauren had spoke up and said, nobody tells me to hush up and shut up. Because I guess Jess one day was so agitated with Lauren LaRosa that she told her to hush up or shut up or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Lauren was saying, hey, you don't talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what's going on. You ain't going to just tell me to hush up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is looking crazy. So, Jess is also saying that, every time she's on, it just feels like they competing for airtime, competing for that slot. And she just said, hey, this is supposed to be my slot. I'm not supposed to have to be, competing with nobody to speak and, to have the airtime. And they talking about she can't read. I remember one time Jess said, I'll read it. Because one day Lauren LaRosa actually stumbled a couple words. And this is not normal for her. For the most part, she never stumbles her words while she's reading anything. And one day, it took like months, and one day she finally stumbled a word, and right away Jess was like, yeah, you want me to read it? Yeah, she couldn't wait to say something like that. You see, she has all this built up inside of her. This ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. Breakfast Club going to have to make a decision. Now, I don't know who calls all the shots at the Breakfast Club. It could be like a bigger thing than just Charlemagne and Envy in charge. Like, it's probably like some type of oversight involved. I'm not sure if there's like anyone in offices that are helping to make decisions or have power with the Breakfast Club as well, or if it's really just Charlemagne and DJ Envy in charge of making all the choices and decisions. But, when it comes down to it, somebody's going to have to make that decision and see if you really need Jess there. Because, like, Charlemagne trying to be nice and say, Jess, you contribute, your strengths and what you're good at. Lauren does what she's good at. Like, both of y'all, let's just all get along here. But really, come on, y'all just, this is a business here. You don't need Jess Hilarious. You don't need her now. You guys found a perfect replacement, and plus her energy's not good anyways. Y'all might as well just get rid of her. Y'all don't need 4 members like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be tough for someone to, tell Jess, hey, we don't need you no more. But that's what y'all got to do. This is a business. You're not there to be their friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Lauren LaRosa kept saying. She's saying, like, hey, we can work together. We don't mean we got to be best friends, you know what I'm saying? And she's trying to, like, everyone's trying to compromise with Jess Hilarious and be nice to her and try to figure it out. Like, you know, Lauren's like, hey, you know, we should probably just try to get along for the public. And that's what I said in my last video. That's what Angela Yee refused to do. It's like, okay, you come to work, just go to work. And it don't matter if you like them or anything. Just do your job, you know what I'm saying? Because in the end, it's a disservice to your fans, you know what I'm saying, and your listeners if you're going to sit there and have an attitude, because the fans going to start feeling like, you know what I'm saying, they really not going to want you there at all, because they're the ones getting shortchanged, you know what I'm saying? Because the fan, if you got to go to work with your professional, you know what I'm saying, getting ready for your professional life, because keep that separate from your personal life and your personal issues and feelings, because you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might have to work with someone you don't like, and you know that's what it is with them. And I don't think Jess Hilarious has enough humility and professionalism and maturity to do that. I don't think she knows how to just go to work, just play it off, and you know it's not even playing it off. Just be professional, and you know what I'm saying. Just go on with the show. You know, do your best at what you can do. But, you know, she sees the writing on the wall. She sees they don't really need her no more. They don't really have a need for her anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she just feels bitter, and somebody might as well just let her go. Make the call and let her go. This is business, not personal. So somebody, whether it's the management behind the scenes, or if it's Charlamagne himself or DJ Envy, both of them, or what, somebody needs to tell her she's fired. I think y'all just don't want to tell her that, but I guess y'all, like I said, probably got to wait till her contract's up. Hopefully you didn't sign too long of a contract with her, because she really is a mess. You know what I'm saying? Now we see how, you know what I'm saying, you got to be careful what you speak, because she really is Jess with the mess. That really fits her. You know what I'm saying? That fits her more than Jess Hilarious. Jess with the mess is the perfect name for her. That's why I kept calling her that this whole video, is because it's perfect for her. Jess with the mess. You know what I'm saying? That needs to be her new name instead of Jess Hilarious. Someone was calling her less hilarious. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Jess with the mess, that fits her perfectly. So yeah, it's time for Breakfast Club to get rid of her and let her go. Somebody got to do it. Might as well, or have management do it or something. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm gonna leave some links for you. Let's get over 100 likes on this video. Make sure you follow Rap HITZ on all social media and all that. I'm out.